Are you a Louisiana resident relying on a disabled parking placard for mobility? Discover how to renew your placard seamlessly in just a few steps. No more last-minute surprises or parking hassles. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to break down exactly how to navigate the Louisiana Office of Motor Vehicles to keep your placard current without the usual administrative mystery. Keeping that placard up to date is absolutely essential. It's not just about convenience. It's about maintaining your legal parking privileges and keeping your independence completely uninterrupted. Letting it lapse can lead to some serious headaches, so we're going to make sure you leave here today fully prepared and confident to tackle this process. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover eligibility, the renewal timeline, the exact step-by-step process, what it costs, how to troubleshoot common issues, and then we'll walk through a real-world scenario so you can see exactly how it all comes together. First up, let's look at the eligibility requirements. Now, you might think eligibility is just a general doctor's note saying you need a bit of help getting around, but in Louisiana, a mobility impairment is actually a very strict statutory clinical designation. This means it requires precise physical metrics verified by a licensed medical examiner on an official state document. That document is Form DPS-MV 1966. It's completely objective. So, what does that actually look like? Well, qualifying conditions include an inability to walk 200 feet without stopping to rest, or the required use of an assistive device, like a cane, a wheelchair, or crutches. It also covers severe systemic issues. We're talking class 3 or 4 cardiac conditions, severe lung disease where your FEV1 is less than 1 liter, reliance on portable oxygen, or a diagnosed severe arthritic or neurological limitation. If you meet any of those specific benchmarks, you qualify. Moving right along to the renewal timeline and frequency. You've basically got two different types of placards to keep track of here. A permanent hang tag is valid for 4 years. And the good news, when you renew it, you just need your current tag and your mobility impaired ID. You don't need to go get a new medical certification. But if you have a temporary hang tag, that's only valid for 1 year, and you're only allowed a maximum of 1 renewal. For that temporary tag, you absolutely must provide a newly signed and currently dated Form DPS-MV 1966 from your doctor. Now, here is a real sticking point for a lot of folks. You might read the state statutes and see a 10-year validity period mentioned for permanent tags. Actually, scratch that. The reality is the Louisiana OMV strictly enforces a 4-year physical renewal cycle. Why the difference? It literally just allows the state to keep their databases accurate and prevents old tags from remaining in circulation indefinitely. So for sure, always plan for that 4-year cycle. All right, let's get into the actual renewal process. It really comes down to a simple 3-step checklist. Step 1, gather your expiring hang tag and a valid Louisiana driver's license or state ID. Step 2, if and only if you have a temporary impairment, get that fresh Form DPS-MV 1966 signed by your doctor. If you're permanent, you skip right over that. And step 3, visit a local OMV field office or an authorized public tag agent in person. Okay, this is a huge point of confusion, so let's clear it up right now. Telehealth versus in-person. You absolutely can use a secure online telehealth service to get a licensed doctor to evaluate you and sign that medical form. It's super fast, often taking less than 24 hours. However, you cannot complete the final renewal step online. Louisiana law strictly requires you to physically visit the OMV or a tag agent to surrender your old tag in person, so it's a bit of a hybrid process.
Next up, costs and fees. Are you ready for this? The grand total to renew your mobility impaired hang tag is $3. Yeah, $3. You can pay this by cash or credit card when you go in. It's an incredibly low barrier to entry to maintain your accessibility, which is a pretty pleasant surprise when dealing with motor vehicle paperwork, right?
Let's pivot slightly and talk about troubleshooting some possible issues.
If you run into a roadblock, there's usually a quick fix. Lost or stolen tag? Don't panic. Just submit a statement of loss to the OMV, pay that $3 fee, and they'll issue a replacement for the rest of your term. What if your mobility impairment physically prevents you from visiting the OMV? No problem. You can use a proxy. A representative can go for you as long as they bring a color photo of you, your signed Form DPS-MV 1966, your ID, and they know your pertinent information. Also, a quick aside, if you have family visiting from out of state, Louisiana legally honors valid placards issued by any other U.S. state. Now, I have to emphasize this. State law does not mess around with misuse. Utilizing a hang tag illegally, letting someone else borrow it, or using an expired one can result in a fine of up to $500,
potential imprisonment, and the suspension of your privileges. This is literally the ultimate reason to stay organized, renew on time, and follow the rules exactly. Let's look at a scenario walkthrough to tie this all together. Meet John. John's a Louisiana resident recovering from a pretty severe knee surgery. He relies on a temporary placard to get to his physical therapy. Well, John just checked his rearview mirror and realized his tag expires next week. But because John knows the rules, he doesn't panic. 1 week prior, he skips the waiting room and uses a telehealth service to get his form DPS-MV 1966 recertified by a doctor online. 3 days prior, he gathers his paperwork, the new form, his expiring tag, his driver's license, and his $3. Today, he visits a local public tag agent, hands over his documents, and boom, in 30 minutes, he walks out with his final 1-year temporary renewal. Easy, totally compliant, and completely stress-free. Getting ahead of the game is really the whole secret here. Ensuring your mobility access remains uninterrupted just comes down to knowing your eligibility, preparing your documents, getting a fresh signature if you have a temporary tag, and making that quick trip to the OMV. Taking a quick second to verify that expiration date today will literally save you a massive headache tomorrow. Before we wrap up, a quick legal disclaimer. The information provided in this explainer is current as of August 17, 2026. You should always consult the official Louisiana Office of Motor Vehicles website for the absolute most up-to-date forms, fees, and legal info. So the question I leave you with is this. Are you prepared to gather your documents right now and ensure your mobility access remains uninterrupted? Go check that expiration date, follow these steps, and stay ahead of the game. Thanks for hanging out with us for this explainer.